Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
Has the human a soul? And if he has, where does he keep it?
This is episode 273, reviewing The Shout from 1978, recorded July 29th, 2026.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Doc Rotten, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host and I will tackle another classic, or not so classic, film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. With me this week are my co-hosts, and we'll introduce them, starting off with Jeff Mohr. How you doing, Jeff Mohr?
I'm doing great. Hey, I actually lost enough weight I can start wearing these shirts now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Having a nice little strawberry daiquiri on the side.
I'm sure your wife is thrilled, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. They are in the closet. There's a closet in the studio room, and that's the only place they are. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a great time. It's great to be here.
Also joining us this week is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, and all-around nice guy, published author even.
Well, thank you.
How you doing?
And I just heard I got another story. Short story will be published. So I was very happy to hear that because it was the weirdest thing I've ever written.
Congrats.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I saw the prompt. They said we want stories for an anthology, Cozy Apocalypse. And I was like, what?
I think we're currently in the cozy apocalypse, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well,
And I was just like, that sounds ridiculous. Delete. And then it just sort of rattled around in my head. I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. So yeah.
cool.
Well, it worked out in your favor.
I guess
congratulations.
So. Thank you.
All right. Also joining us is Gregory Crosby, New Yorker, poet, man about town.
Yes.
Really cool guy. How you doing, Gregory?
I'm doing great. I actually just had a couple of poems accepted in a new journal that is all about poetry about pop culture. With the journal is going to be Forget Cool. And they sent me an extremely enthusiastic acceptance email, which means that because it's a brand new journal, the editors are not jaded yet. So I was very happy.
Yet.
Well,
they are extremely pleased to get such a high quality in their first.
There you go.
I'm sure that's it. Yeah, so I'm doing well.
There you go. All right. Well, tonight we are gathering to review the movie The Shout from 1978. We'll be getting to that here shortly. We're going to be doing, we'll introduce the film a little bit, give our first impressions, and then we'll dive into a discussion that will include cast of characters, the marketing, the cast and crew, and anything else that comes up as we discuss it. And then we'll round out the show with our feedback. And we've got quite a bit, and we encourage you to stick around for that. It's a lot of fun. Before we get things going, Jeff, do you have anything to say about Play Now Media?
Well, yeah.
Indeed, I do.
And I'm going to tell you all, just go to playnowmedia.com, click on the three lines in the upper right corner, choose apps. I think it's apps, or it could be streaming channels or channels, but you'll get a long list of the specified subgenre, narrow interest type channel. And I guarantee if you got something you really like, you'll find a subgenre for it among their channels. Now, what you can do, you can just go and watch them. So just go check them out. You can go search. Watch them with ads, and there'll be some premium content you can't get. Or you can subscribe and then no ads and all the premium content. And Decades for the 1970s is streaming on their Wicked Horror TV channel. Along with the other two decades of horrors are also there.
Excellent. And if you are there watching this, we want you to write in and let us know what you think. And that way, not only of the Wicked Horror TV channel, but our podcast and everything else in the movies we cover, or the weather. I don't care. Just write. All right. Let's dive into our movie, starting off with the card. The Shout, 1978, from Jerzy Skolimowski. Let me try that again. Skolimowski. I said it before the show. Now I can't get it out of my face. Jerzy Skolimowski.
There you go.
With Michael Austin and Jerzy as well, and a story from Robert Graves, 1929. The cast includes Alan Bates, Susanna York, John Hurt, Robert Stevens, Tim Curry. Production company is Low Rank Organization, Recorded Picture Company. I wanted to say something else entirely. National Film Finance Corporation. Filming locations, England, Pinewood Studios in North Devon. Release date, filming date, June 20th, 1977, for over 6 weeks. Release date was June 1st, 1978 in the UK, and August 10th, 1979 in the US. The budget was £5 million estimate, approximately $9 million in the US. Synopsis is: a traveler forces himself upon a musician and his wife in a lonely part of Devon and uses aboriginal magic he has learned to displace his host.
Now, Bill, did you notice that if you remember, I think it was The Maze was released like within 2 months of the filming dates.
Yeah.
And this is it's 14 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or 13 months, something like that.
Seems a little more typical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I should save this for a comment, but I so enjoyed the discussion of The Maze and the way that the entire Grue Crew was striving so hard during first impressions never to say the word frog.
Yes. Yeah, we
really enjoyed that. So, hey everyone, if you haven't listened to Decades Before the Classic Era on The Maze, highly recommend it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Well, we're going to start with you, Gregory, because this was your pick.
Yes.
Let me know when you first saw this. What was your first impression? And does this film hold up today?
I first saw this last evening. Whenever I would type in horror on the Criterion channel, this film always popped up. And I'd read about it in a couple of books. But I'd never pulled the trigger on it until last night. I really enjoyed this film. There's some things, some quibbles, especially with the ending, but there are two things I think this movie does really well. And the first is the frame. We are being told a story by someone in a mental institution. And so right off the bat, anything that seems, wait, what? In the story that is unfolding in the film, you can then relax. This is an unreliable narrator. Just go with it, which is enormously helpful, especially in those moments that are very like, wait, what? Throughout the story. So I think it does that really well. I think that's very effective. Some people always feel like the unreliable narrator is a bit of like, but I think it works really, really well and it's really effective. And particularly since the unreliable narrator is the other thing this movie does really well, which is casting Alan Bates as Crossley. Alan Bates is so good in this role. He is so perfect as this malevolent magician who just appears out of nowhere in this married couple's life, and basically uses magic to cuckold character. He is so good in this, and I was thinking earlier, if anybody else had been cast in this role, this would have been a much more ho-hum, humdrum exercise. But with Alan Bates in the part, it really gives it a power beyond what the writers and the director is doing with the film itself. Alan Bates is just great in this. He's probably the best reason to see this. There are other pleasures in this that we'll get to because it is a great cast. But wow, Alan Bates is just amazing. So I enjoyed this. I like high strangeness, and this is the kind of movie that very much trucks in some high strangeness with a couple of very disturbing scenes that I think are done really well. So yeah, that's my first impression.
There you go, Jeff. You are up next. When did you first see The Shout? What was your first impression?
I saw it a few years ago, and it was one of those deals where there are times when I watch a movie and that's what I'm doing. There are other times I'm watching a movie where I'm like, I just want to get an idea of this because I don't know anything about it, and I'm doing something else. And the first time I watched it, I was doing that. So you miss a lot because it makes even less sense if you miss some of the story. It's an interesting kind of folk horror thing, and I would expand it to William Hurt and Susanna York for the excellent acting. I thought they all did a great job. I really hated Alan Bates, which means I guess he did a good job.
Right. The character being Charles Crossley.
Yes, the character.
True villain.
So yeah, it's, and I don't really know, just like Gregory was talking about unreliable narrator, I don't really know for sure what happened in the end, because you get a couple of different versions of it. Either something happened or nothing happened. I don't know. I kind of dug the well, never mind. We'll get to it.
All right. Fair enough. Bill Mulligan, you're up next. When did you first see The Shout, and what was your first impression?
Yeah, this is a weird thing, but I've seen the trailer for this movie a whole bunch of times because when I was in college, this would be like 79 to 84, I would go see Rocky Horror Picture Show at the local theater. Or anything you would go to see at this local theater, they would show the trailer for Rocky Horror, and they would show a trailer for The Shout. And I never could quite understand because it seemed like they weren't showing The Shout ever, but I got to see the trailer. So I'm thinking the trailer for Rocky Horror must have been attached to a trailer for The Shout, and they just they were really just showing Rocky Horror, but they weren't going to just cut it in the middle. So I saw it over and over again. It looked interesting. It looked very arty-farty. And for whatever reason, I never pulled the trigger, like Gregory said, and actually watched it. And which is weird because I've gotten to be very interested in folk horror, and it's obvious that this is a folk horror thing. But, the reviews I read made it seem less horror and more relationships and stuff. And that's somewhat fair. But I really enjoyed watching it. I really, really did. It's great casting. You're absolutely right. Alan Bates is phenomenal. The only actor I could even imagine doing this role would be his co-star from Women in Love, Oliver Reed. But I think Bates is better because Oliver Reed is so obviously insane and scary that it would be a little too on the nose.
Even in real life, just the way.
Oh, absolutely, in real life. Yeah.
That's the Ken Russell version of The Shout with Oliver Reed.
Yeah. But watching it, I was really impressed. I mean, the horror is very limited, but it's well done. It really is. And I wasn't as crazy about the framing, the unreliable narrator thing. It just got a little. I would have been just as happy if it were a more straightforward kind of thing. But that does lend an air of ambiguity to it that does work well. I like all the actors, and I've always liked Susanna York, and I get to see more of her in this than I think I did in anything else. So, and of course, John Hurt is terrific, and of course the contrast between John Hurt and Alan Bates is painful. It's like, dude, yeah, you are so gonna lose your wife. I mean, Bates is clearly insane, but he's such a masculine presence that he just looks like he's going to come in, take your wife, take your job, take your house. Your dog's going to follow him. I mean, it's over for you. Yeah. And of course, they also, we'll get to it, but they also didn't really make Hurt's character a necessarily great guy either.
No.
And there's really no one to root for in this movie. Maybe young Tim Curry, which is the only way I can refer to him because he looks like he's 12 years old. And it's like, that looks like a kid who might one day grow up to be Tim Curry.
That might be the only reason the Shout trailer was attached to Rocky Horror, because Tim Curry is in both movies.
Duh. I don't, for the life, you're absolutely right. But for the life of me, I don't even know if he even shows up in the trailer. If he does,
I don't know. Who knows? Somebody might just have been like, yeah, Tim Curry. We love Tim Curry. Here's another Tim Curry movie.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because then the other thing, they would show that trailer. They would show the trailer for Rocky Horror, which we're about to see. Doesn't matter. They would show a music video of this is before MTV, but Tim Curry doing "Do the Rock."
Yeah.
So it was just a Tim Curry fest.
Yep.
You are mystery solved.
How many years later?
Way too many.
But
thanks for picking it, because it's something I've really been meaning to get to, and for whatever reason never did.
All right, my story is not as happy as yours. The three of you. I saw this a couple decades back, and what's really interesting about this, the reason why it caught my attention early on, is at the time it came out, I was in DC, and I was in the habit of like cutting out all the advertisements for horror movies out of the post and putting them in a binder, right? I was collecting posters. The newspaper, and The Shout was one of them, and it was just like, what is this? And I've been curious about it ever since, because it just was this odd thing, and it kind of grew into have its own mystery, and that kind of attraction to it. So I finally got to see it in the early aughts. I say, oh God, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. The pacing, the lack of the horror I was looking for, there's some choices toward the end where what I want as a payoff doesn't actually happen. They like freeze frame it. We get one, but then the other times they're like,
yeah.
And
objection, Doug. I think I have the same objection about the ending as well.
Yeah. So I absolutely hated it. I mean, so much so I never wanted to watch it again. Well, lo and behold, years later, Gregory picks it, and I knew it was going to happen eventually. So I do the good thing, and I actually watch it this time. I pay attention, and I do notice things now, because of course now I've been through almost 2 decades of doing this podcast. At least 16 years, right? So my appreciation of different types of movies has grown immensely. So this one, it sat a little better. I still don't like it. I still do not like this movie. Mainly, I mean, everything you guys are saying is right. Because I totally didn't really understand the unreliable narrator before, and it's totally here this time. And now I could tell the difference when they did the weird cuts, because they would cut very strangely from the story back to this cricket tournament, and it was, for me, it was very jarring. Less so this time, but I did appreciate the acting quite a bit, and I remembered the one takeaway from watching it was John Hurt, because I thought he was absolutely he was just. I was really fascinated with him at this time anyway. When I first watched it, so watching him again in this, I could see that, and the rest of the cast is good, and I think you're right, Alan Bates, who I had no appreciation for before, more so now, because I've been exposed to him many more times, and maybe even reminded that I'd been exposed to him a couple of times before that anyway. So it got a little more exposed to him this time. And
isn't he in Taste the Blood of Dracula? Am I remembering that correctly?
No, Ralph Bates.
That's Ralph Bates. Good. Yep. I was about to say, I was like, that can't be right in my mind as you were saying.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it more this time. I was more into really paying attention to the backstory that Crossley shares about being in Australia, the outback, and they didn't really pay attention the first time around about the kids and everything and all his mounting BS and what he was actually trying to do. Actually came across this time, because I was paying attention. I was actually I I knew what I was in for, so I wasn't, going to be disappointed with the pacing. I knew the pacing was coming, so I was able to digest this movie in a better way. Yeah, it's artsy fartsy. Artsy fartsy is a good way to put it. It is very much an art film. The horror is very minimal, but it is there. It is there. There's hints of supernatural. There's hints of madness. There are at least 5 deaths in the movie and a couple sheep. And really strange things. And and Tim Curry as named as the author of the short story, which is a nice meta thing, which I appreciated more post than I did anything else. Was that, oh wow, okay, so the author heard the story and would later write the story that would then become this movie that we're watching. That's kind of neat. I like this idea.
So the story it's based on, the Robert Graves, was a poet in addition to being the guy who wrote I, Claudius. So
yeah,
where a lot of this imagery is very much. This is a very poetic horror story. And
also, if you look up Robert Graves and read his life story, his home life was crazier than this one. So
and all the
have you read the story? Anybody read the story?
I have not.
Okay, I found it online, but I didn't. It's only about 20 pages long, so.
I've heard Robert Graves, but I haven't read this particular story. But now I want to see what.
Me too.
Yeah. And the cinematography and everything for this is very lingering. It's not a fast moving picture or anything. So you get a lot of shots of the landscape, and the
landscape's gorgeous.
Maybe slowly pan or not pan at all, and you get to see a variety of things. And they're gorgeous. They're really well shot. It's beautiful. So there's a lot going for it. Pacing is not it. I think a lot of horror fans today, growing up, becoming in the aughts and stuff, will probably find the pacing miserable. But
no, that's why I really say there should really be a category for high strangeness when it comes to natural horror, because there's so many movies that are not going to hit those sweet spots for the average horror fan.
Well, there isn't.
Nonetheless are extremely can be very disturbing and really linger in your mind and really sort of get under your skin. But you're not going to have the same sort of visceral reaction that you would to other types of horror. So
isn't elevated horror kind of the new...
No, elevated horror is a bullshit marketing term that in order to try to sell.
Unlike all the other
there are horror movies, some of which are very good, and some of which are artsy fartsy horror movies. So, elevated horror is the kind of thing when it's the kind of thing when somebody said, "Oh, I don't read science fiction, I read speculative fiction." It's like you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, it's an out.
That would seem to be I know Ellison was big on that, but that seems like a redundant term.
Yeah, and I know Jeff probably appreciates this, that high strangeness is also a particularly British subgenre of horror. There are a lot of writers of horror that are very much about, I'm going to get under your skin, disturb you, and make you go, ooh, sort of shudder, as opposed to make you go, oh God, when will it stop? That type of horror. So that also sort of tracks with the fact that this is set where it is set. So
yeah, I'm not as convinced about the success of that as you are, but
which is fine. I just like to make a case for these sort of subgenres that are that can be appreciated, but you have to approach them from a slightly different angle. I think. I'm sure there's horror fans who went to see Backrooms who are just like, what is this?
Right.
That kind of thing. So,
absolutely.
But if you approach it with the right angle, you go, oh wow, this is really interesting. So I always make a case for high strangeness. High strangeness is one of my favorite sort of flavors.
What would you call the high point of this film?
The high point of this film?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it when we finally hear the scream?
That's the high point for me, because I thought they did a great job on that.
Yeah, I think it's right after that when you realize that that Crossley has gone out where there's no one around to give John Hurt's character this experience, and we understand why John Hurt is doing this, because he apparently is some kind of experimental avant-garde musician who is fascinated with sounds. So we get why he would be like, okay, I'm actually gonna like, I don't believe you, I think you're bullshit, but I'm actually gonna go follow you out into the dunes to see what this is. And then there's that cut to the shepherd and his sheep, and you realize that they have been that it's just such a quick cut, but it's so jarring because you've been set up to think, oh, it's just going to be John Hurt's character and Crossley's character. And then when you see the collateral damage, and then the scene a little later when Crossley picks up the dead gull
bird, the gull,
and you realize, oh my God, this is a monster. Everything, every animal within range of this shout is dead. That to me is one of the high points. The other high point being just being how good Susanna York is when he comes back after it seems he's left, and he picks up her clasp again, which he's used to cast a spell on her, and she has that great scene at the table where you see him come his presence, his control over her come over her again, and like it's a long sort of shot, and then the next time you see her, it's at that table, but she is on the floor next to him.
Yep.
Like
caressing her face with his hand.
And John Hurt's face is, and John Hurt doesn't get it quite yet. He's like,
a little slow on the uptake there.
He didn't want to get it. That's the problem.
Yeah, those are the two, because the movie, if the movie had just been about the shout, that would have been interesting, but it would have been very much like, okay. But the fact that it's about the shout, but also about this weird fixation he has about stealing John Hurt's wife, which we get when we get the weird backstory that he supposedly relates. Though to me, it's kind of like a double sort of high point. And then that makes the very final shot even stranger, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I thought it was really strange, and I wanted to find out more about it because John Hurt like passes out, or his character Anthony Fielding passes out at the screen. He has stuff in his ears, so he's not going to die or everything. He's got it. He's protected, and he rolls down this big dune, and when he wakes up, he thinks he's the
town cobbler. Yeah, he thinks
town cobbler for a short bit. Yeah. And I found that interesting. It's like, and I don't think I really put that together to just now. Is it because he used the buckle of a shoe
I think it's all part of that. He begins the whole thing of talking about, that was a quote from the beginning. I read the beginning. Where is the soul? Can you put a part of your soul in an object? And I don't fully understand this either. Why there's this weird transference between John Hurt's character and the town cobbler. But then there's that scene later on where the cobbler goes, I had the worst experience. And you see that moment when John Hurt picks up the stone, where's that weird transference, when the cobbler's telling him about it, how he's twisting and writhing in bed. Again, there's no, if you're looking at this from a logical story point of view, it's like, well, wait a minute, we get that he's cast a spell over Susanna York's character because he wants to steal the wife, but why is this happening? I don't know. And that's kind of... Is
it because he's cheating? He's sleeping with the cobbler's wife?
I think that must be it. There must be some kind of weird... Because
yes, who was the woman that he kept at church? Yeah.
The window when they were there.
There are connections, but they're not spelled out. And so you really have to just
maybe the cobbler's daughter.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, but there's connections that we don't understand.
There's so much stuff I don't know. Like there was a lot of stuff that I've messing around with, just little artifacts and curios and stuff, and so I knew there was some kind of mumbo jumbo going on that I had no clue what it was supposed to be happening, but it was happening. He was like casting a spell of some kind with this stuff.
Right. And there's somehow some part of Crossley's soul is in one of those stones, because towards the end, that's how Hurt manages to finally, begin to break the spell. Which coincidentally happens as the police show up, which I thought was a nice sort of question.
But he used. Hang on one second. He used the shoes to do that.
He did.
Yeah,
Which goes back to the cobbler.
Banging the rock with the shoe, and suddenly Crossley's like, feeling the pain of it. Yeah. Right. Again, it's the mechanism is mysterious, but I think it's also effective just at that point in the story.
Now, was it clear? Why is he putting his
fighting back?
Yeah. Why is he putting his soul in stones and then just leaving them around for any Tom, Dick, and Harry to whack with a shoe?
I don't know.
I mean, it kind of reminded me of Voldemort with the Horcruxes and everything. It's not a bad idea to maybe leave pieces of your soul around, but it didn't really work out well.
We don't know, and that's why we're doing this podcast.
And so what was the deal with, because then there was the scene where he's with Tim Curry, and Tim Curry goes, "Who's that guy?" And points at William Hurt and says,
John Hurt,
or John.
Yeah, William Hurt.
Called the wrong name all day long. But who's that? And he says, "That's a man who, I don't know, something about lost his wife or something." But what he says, does he say he gained her back or almost lost his wife or something? Because it's different from what the story is telling. What he tells.
Well, that's part of the whole unreliable narrator. It's like we have this sense that maybe this entire story is just something a madman has come up with. But of course, in classic horror movie ambiguity, style, there's that shot toward the end,
right,
where the head of the psychiatric institution appears to have died not from the lightning strike, but from something else entirely. Right?
Makes you wonder.
Yeah. So
and then Rachel shows up at the end, but
dressed as a nurse.
Yeah, and goes to see Charles Crossley's corpse. Crossley's corpse.
John Hurt's nowhere around. She's looking at the bodies of the three who
the
died.
whole thing. Whose body was she looking for?
She wasn't looking for anybody. She comes to Crossley's body, and she's like staring at him with tenderly. She just sort of bypasses the other two, the doctor, the head of the institution, and
takes something off of his. Takes a necklace or something off of him.
Yeah, and then we just have a fade out, and we're like,
what?
Is this just all the ravings of a mental patient?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You decide.
Yep. And Tim Curry's nowhere around to help us out.
Nope.
No. He jumped out of the. Which, by the way, I don't know if you're having a cricket match for mental patients. I'm not sure if you need an entire trailer to.
I loved it.
But I think that's probably some kind of British thing. I don't know. English thing?
I don't know. I thought it was great, which is why. I think I had that on the.
That was on the title card. You had them pushing the. There it is. Yeah.
Just because I thought it was so weird. The other thing I thought was on that poster, that guy, the little figure that's reeling back, holding his head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doc. I'm out.
That's fine.
I meant to say something when you were presenting the card, but I didn't.
All right. Well, is there anything else we want to say before we get into the cast of characters? Anything else?
I'll say one thing, just because I know we don't have a card, and you guys brought it up. But the cinematographer is a guy named Mike Malloy, Australian, and the movies that he was a cinematographer on, I don't see a lot of great stuff, but he worked in the camera and electrical department on movies like Clockwork Orange, Walkabout, and Barry Lyndon.
Those are.
All right.
If I was fetching coffee for Barry Lyndon, I'd put that on my credits. I mean, that's a gorgeous movie. Dang.
And I think you said that initially they approached Nicholas Rowe to direct this, so maybe that was how they got Malloy.
Totally could see that.
With Rowe. Yeah.
And then then the director that we got came out somewhere. Interesting. All right. Well, let's dive into the cast characters. I'm sure this is going to bring up even more discussion.
Wait, don't we have a tagline?
We can do that first if you like.
No. I just there's just the one tagline, but go ahead. We can cast.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right. Up first is, of course, Alan Bates as Charles Crossley. He is a charismatic, menacing, and enigmatic drifter who claims to have learned the dark, primal, and lethal shout, which they also call the terror shout.
Yes, it's a fascinating character, and Alan Bates plays him just perfectly. I think it's just yeah. The thing that was a mystery to me watching the movie was, what is his motivation? Why does he pick this particular couple? And at one point he says to John Hurt, I've heard your music. It's empty. And that made me think, okay, is John Hurt a famous, avant-garde musician who just lives in this tiny village in Devon? And this Crossley character has just tracked him down because he somehow knows him, because he has planned this. There's that great little scene where he lets the air out of the guy's bicycle tire, so he to start talking to him after the church service. We don't know. We don't know why this was happening. And again, I think, to me, that always, so long as it's not too much of a like, wait, what? That kind of thing where we don't know the motivation, but clearly some motivation is there, I think sometimes is very effective. But yeah, no idea why he does this.
This premise only works in like British or Canada things, because if you're an American and this guy shows up, if I'm minding my own business outside watering the lawn and this guy shows up and says, I haven't had a bite to eat in 4 days, I'll bite him, but I'm not inviting him into my house for sure. It's like, well,
I think that's the signal to us that John Hurt's the kind of person who people can walk all over.
Yeah.
That he's like, he's the kind of person who's like, I can't say no.
I can't,
including his wife, because she kind of ignores him.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she's kind of annoyed at the beginning of it, like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I can't imagine he's a famous musician, because I just don't think "Be Trapped in Glass Bottle with Microphone" was a huge hit, top of the pops.
Well, famous avant-garde musician.
I guess.
One hopes that if you are an aboriginal magician, that you have esoteric tastes in music.
I just want to say, I was at a film festival once. The entertainment, I don't know how much they paid this guy, but whatever, if it was anything more than nothing, he's a genius. He spent like an hour arranging microphones, put an electric guitar down in the middle, surrounded by them all, hit it once, and then walked away. And for the next 3 hours, the feedback sounded like a bunch of Eskimos stabbing a whale to death.
Yep. That sounds about right.
That was
for avant-garde.
Yeah, that was it. Hella impressive.
I assumed you don't really talk about it, but he's just recording strange sounds using strange objects and with no explanation for what he's doing.
But he's got cutouts of like paintings by Francis Bacon and Edvard Munch up on his studio. He's clearly an artist.
Oh yes, of course.
Oh no, I gotta go take down my Edvard Munch.
But he's clearly meant to be an artist, and that makes an interesting contrast in terms of the story, because Crossley is some kind of magician. He presents himself as a magician, and so this sort of weird correspondence between magic and art, which many people have sort of like tried to highlight and point out, is kind of like an underlying theme throughout the movie.
I thought the character, obviously Bates is great, but the character too is written in that a lot of the dialogue is on that edge of, that could be totally innocent, or that could be incredibly devious and manipulative, and you can't, it's like, if I say something, it's going to sound stupid.
Yeah.
Because all I did was, but then other times he is blatantly
raving.
Malignant.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely a presence. And, and you almost kind of feel like he was sent. He wasn't actually, maybe it wasn't his choice. It feels like, he was like serving a bigger purpose kind of thing. But
doesn't he say he learned this stuff from a witch doctor, Aboriginal witch doctor?
Yeah, yeah.
Aboriginal.
He claims to have lived in Australia for 18 years, and that brings in sort of that folk horror element of like, I've learned secrets that are not part of Western thought or Western science, and that has made me far more powerful than you, Mr. Avant-garde. I record bees in bottles, musician, blonde wife in a little village, and I am going to take advantage of you now.
My music can kill people. Your music just wishes people wish they would die.
Nice.
Yeah.
But he has that weird connection with that whole layout. Like, where did the Fieldings, where did Susanna York and John Hurt live in relation to the mental institution?
Bike ride away.
Yeah, we don't know. At that point, we're back in what might be what appears to be the frame, and it's like, oh, this is something, in fact, there's a sense when he points out John Hurt playing cricket that John Hurt is in no way the person that he's telling the story about. That this is really something that he is just completely devised in his delusion, and now Tim Curry gets to hear the whole story.
Yeah, it's like, because the John Hurt character we see in the wraparound story is he's institutionalized as well, right?
I don't think so. I think there's a scene where he arrives in the same car with Susanna York's character.
Oh, do they?
Maybe he's a doctor.
Yeah. They arrive together, and I feel like they're just bystanders who this story has been projected upon by this delusion.
That's interesting.
I didn't think too much about it, but I just thought this hey, weekly pickup cricket game over at the mental hospital. If that's the only game in town, then
well, it's just sort of so, and then to see, I mean, it's a little early to bring it up, but then to see this is a Jack Mohr moment. Here's the great Jim Broadbent, the great English character actor, in his very first role, just being a whack job out on the cricket field. Looking so young. Looking like, when I saw him, I kept looking, when's Jim Broadbent going to show up? And when he shows up, like, oh my God, he's a child. He's one of the inmates.
Yeah. He's credited as Field in Cowpat, which I assume is English for cow, short for cow pasture.
Yeah. It's so
extremely young. Yes,
it's it is such an English, almost twee framing. For this story, and you could, if you did a remake of this, it would be very interesting to be like, toss that out the window. Let's just go straight to malevolent magician shows up and terrorizes.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that is the tack that someone remaking this would take. So,
far more shenanigans would ensue. So.
More shenanigans.
More shouts.
Susanna York as Rachel Fielding. Rachel Fielding is a helpless victim of psychological violation, stripped of her free will by Crossley's primal hypnotic power. Good way to put it.
Primal. He's primal.
Yeah. And she's definitely, she's vulnerable at the same time, right? Because there's evidence from the conversation and the way she's acting that she's, not exactly a happy housewife at the time. And I think she's suspicious of what's going on with John Hurt's character. So she falls prey fairly easily.
Total misconnection here. It's Jim Broadbent. This was his second credit. His first credit was in 1971 in The Go-Between, where he played a spectator at a cricket match.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Took 7 years to graduate to an actual person on the field.
Glad you went on to much better things, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a paper out there, The Importance of Cricket to John. Jim, sorry. Anyway, anything else we want to say about Rachel? She doesn't really have any.
Somebody who clearly is not entirely happy in her marriage, At the same time, is not just, it is a spell that he has cast on her. It is not just a simple like, oh, I'm gonna there's an element of that, but she's a victim as much as anyone else in the movie.
She does a good job too. I mean, part of the
she
time
does a great job. I don't feel as drawn to the character because she's so passive. She doesn't. It's not her fault that she's victimized by this magician, but she also isn't the one that breaks the spell. So she's really just a damsel in distress. That's her role in the film, basically.
Yeah,
she's good at it and everything. And
well, I thought she was kind of. I can't think of the word I want, but a little more aggressive with her husband.
Yes.
I mean, more natural, self-assured, whatever, she'd been with him for a long time, and she knew what she was going to put up with and what they were going to do and that kind of stuff. And then he walks in and suddenly she just goes, you couldn't be more passive.
Yeah. The character itself is not presented with much agency of her own. So she's a wheel in the story as opposed to an engine.
They're both victims in different ways. Both she
right.
All right. Then we have John Hurt as Anthony Fielding, a church organist and avant-garde sound recordist. Watches helplessly as Crossley systematically dismantles his life. And that's the expression on his face.
That's the whole. What the hell's going on?
John Hurt was an expert at this expression.
Yeah.
And not very long after this, you'll be having the same expression at breakfast.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Great actor.
Yeah.
Great actor. And does this role well. But again, I'll give the movie credit. They don't go out of their way to make us like him. His art seems very questionable. He's cheating on his wife.
Yep.
He invites this obvious nutter into their house. Just And it finally shows his stuff at the end. Starts whacking rocks with shoes, and that works out well, I guess. But
he's very much presented as here's an artist, and they're hopeless.
Yeah.
Artists are hopeless. And no wonder he's having such a hard
Don't let your daughters marry an artist.
No.
Yeah. We'll get to him as an actor. Some very fascinating things. Of course, we've referenced Alien, but there's so much more.
But he was very introverted.
Yeah.
Very much so. He and at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
At a cost.
But his character needs to be somebody obsessed with sound, because otherwise it makes no sense that he's going to take Crossley's claim of being able to do the terror shout seriously. Right. Because it's just part of all the other bullshit he's sort of thrown out. But it's like the one thing you go, wait, what? I would like to hear that.
It makes sense. It makes sense that even though he thinks this is 100% bullshit, I do want to hear what it sounds like, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then when he realizes it's real, it doesn't. Yeah.
And full credit to the filmmakers, because you're like, how are you going to make this not sound stupid? Just someone yelling at the top of their lungs, and whatever filters, whatever it was they used, the payoff was worth the buildup.
It sounds great. The only other way you could do something like that is to just have it be total silence and let the audience imagine how terrifying the sound is. But they actually were like, no, the movie's called The Shout. This is, we're not so artsy that we're not going to give you guys a real death shout, real terror shout. So here it is.
That's right. This isn't the beast with a million eyes. We're gonna pay off.
And we'll get to see all the Australian fillings that our character has in his teeth.
Yes.
We get a big close up of his mouth. All these fillings. But this guy's a little bit of a pushover. He doesn't really have a backbone. Maybe he gets one, maybe he doesn't. You know, it's not really established, but it's not really part of the story. We're really, it's like what, you know, it really is about Crowley. I keep wanting to call him Crowley, but it's Crossley.
And I think that might be intentional. That Crossley.
I think that was very intentional.
Yeah. But yeah, it ends up being like entirely his story, right? Because in the end, John Hurt's character, you know, Fielding, whoever he is in the wraparound story, you know, just walks away from everything before everything goes down. He's not even a part of the story. He's just an object.
Crossley's the one supposedly telling this story. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. So it and I think that's a choice that many film goers may not gravitate toward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some other horror films where the villain is more of the center of the story than the victims.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's not the usual choice. You usually want the audience to identify with who's being threatened. You know,
right.
Aren't there some Marvel characters that like some comic book characters that have a super
there's absolutely that in comic books. I'm talking about I can't think of any examples.
Banshee. There's Banshee.
There's Banshee. There's Black Bolt. There's
I hate bringing up something and then not having to reach for an example, but there's got to be horror movies where the monster is you're totally with the monster's point of view, with the villain's point of view.
Frankenstein.
I mean, you know, yeah.
You're not wrong. I mean, you could say Psycho as well.
Yeah. So it's very, it's very interesting. It's an interesting choice, and it only works if your monster is very charismatic and compelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you the truth, Anthony here is lucky that Crossley turns out to actually be a supernatural guy with all the powers and vulnerabilities that comes along with. Because if he was just a charismatic weirdo, he ain't getting that wife back anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've mentioned it before, but here's Tim Curry as Robert Graves, who is the same name as the author.
Fresh out of middle school.
For reasons, fresh out of middle school. Very fresh.
Well, the story is written that way too, that somebody's telling him a story. So
now you say fresh out of middle school, but this is after he has been Dr. Frank-N-Furter.
Really?
Yes. Rocky Horror is 1976. This is being filmed literally a year after Rocky Horror comes out. It's just that this is Tim Curry not being typical Tim Curry. This is a very uncharacteristic. I mean, of course, he's at the beginning of his career, but this is a much less characteristic Tim Curry role than we're used to seeing later on.
And also, if Rocky Horror had been released by the time this one came out, it had died a horrifying death, and he had no reason to think it was ever going to be anything more than a blip.
Right. The cult was just getting going. Yeah.
Probably wasn't even aware of it, but when they were filming this.
Well, did he play it on the stage before the movie?
I don't know. I think so, but I possibly know. I'm sure someone in future feedback.
Oh, there's people screaming at the headphones right now. Yeah.
How could you not know?
I did Rocky Horror a few times, but I don't know all of the arcana.
I mean, his character is basically a
good listener.
Yeah, he's a good listener, and he's our entrance into the story. He's in terms of literary stuff, he's the wedding guest in Coleridge's, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. He's the guy who gets to get waylaid so the story can be told.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love how he's like, if you just kept score, I could tell you a story. You just keep score for, could keep all the scores while I'm talking, which is like, smart way to get somebody to get out of having to keep score.
There is an interesting thing that happens about 2/3 of the way. For some reason, Crossley steps on Graves' shoe, his foot.
Yeah.
And he pulls away.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's curious. But I never figured out what they were trying to communicate with that.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
If this is all the ravings of a madman, he's crazy, and crazy people do unexpected things. If there really is the supernatural involved, touching could have meaning that we're not privy to, and
Mm-hmm.
the movie's smart enough not to have him explain everything.
Yes.
Right. True.
Again, exposition kills so much. There's so many great horror stories and horror movies where the exposition just pulls the rug out from under it.
Right.
But that's just me. So.
And we have one more character to bring up, and that is the chief medical officer. Doesn't even get a name, played by Robert Stevens, who is basically introduces our characters and then oversees the cricket match until the end. Until the end.
This is a very British character. This is the difference between being crazy and being eccentric.
Yes.
Clearly, the head of the institution is highly eccentric.
Right.
Not crazy.
He really he's more interested in his cricket games than treating his patients. It seems like somebody's over here screaming, and he just kind of
he's got too much status to be crazy. If you have a certain level of status and or money, that crazy becomes eccentric. That's the
early on when he's talking to Graves, he says, "Oh yes, he's very indulgent of me," and I was like, "Of course he is." He probably thinks you're the most fascinating nut in the entire house.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Yeah.
Well, he tells, doesn't he tell?
Yeah.
I think doesn't he tell John Hurt's character about? Oh, I think you'll love talking to him. He's very interesting.
Yes.
Well, not John Hurt's, but Tim Curry's.
Oh, to Tim Curry says to him. Okay.
No, yeah, right. He says, "Oh, look at," and that's how he introduces John Hurt into things, and we don't know yet that that you might just be projecting this whole thing on this guy who's playing cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's one of those things that makes unreliable narrators. The downside of unreliable narrators is you really have to you need to watch the movie again to get the fullness of the unreliable narrator sometimes. It's not a problem for us movie lovers, but some people sort of balk at wait, I had to watch this 3 times and then I got it. Well, yeah, it's art. Sometimes you gotta watch it. Sometimes you gotta watch it. Sometimes you gotta wait a few years and watch it again, and still not like it, like Doc. But at least now you're like.
No, I appreciate it. I don't like it.
Well, that happens to me all the time, and part of it is. I'm watching a movie. If I'm just watching a movie because I read something somewhere, I might not be paying as close attention as I am here. Plus, when I watch a movie for the podcast, I've built a little background on it before I even watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some interest in the people involved in it, or some stories that have to do with the making something that makes it more interesting. And that immediately, it's like Bill has talked with me a couple times about how Tom Weaver can make the most terrible movie sound like a masterpiece in his commentaries.
Yeah.
Well, as we all know, there are some movies that may not be good, but they are at least interesting.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that is our cast of characters, and now we transition over to something else. Jeff, what is that we transition to?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes we do it now. Sometimes we do it other times.
That's why I was confused earlier. I couldn't. I always felt like taglines came after first impressions, but my apologies for.
Sometimes.
But it is now time for taglines with Chad, with the part of Chad played by Bill Mulligan.
And Chad's going to be so sorry. I'm the one on the left. Yes.
Yeah.
There's any confusion.
I wasn't really sure. There's only one, but we've got to, we have a process here. We have to follow.
Give me a few years. I won't be able to say Bill's the one with more hair. Chad's going to be sorry he's not here today because we have a grand total of 1. Count them 1. That's uno taglines. For a movie that had so many cool posters, only 1 tagline. A film of intense perversity, the madness of the mind. Yeah.
That's fairly good for this film.
Intense perversity. I kind of like that.
And that's been taglines with the part of Chad played by Bill Mulligan. Bill.
A hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
Seamless.
Yeah,
I'll get the timing right.
Crystal song and just have like a robot voice put in different names instead of Jen.
Yeah. I
Hero emotion, you know.
Get the timing right.
I have to say, it's kind of surprising given the nature of this film and that there are not more punful taglines for this.
Well, we have a lot of posters, so
well, let's jump into them. Yeah, so
maybe
here's
there'll be some. I didn't go digging for more taglines. I just said, hey, they only got one.
That's a really great poster. The body and the dunes and the weird head float. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, there's a guy standing in the. I guess he's standing in the small of her back on the dunes.
But I just can't believe there's no like tag like whatever you do, don't listen. You know, that kind of like. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like it's surprising, but that's what you get, kids, when you have an art horror film. You don't get the same kind of same level of punful.
No, because it's not the audience.
Exactly.
Here's another one. That one's literal.
Yeah.
Great design.
I've never seen this one.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind always with some of these posters, I'm not 100% sure these are legit posters or deviant art or people going back and it's like, this is the poster they should have had. I'm pretty sure this one's legit because it's, and it does take the image that we just saw and chop it up so it's now part of the title.
Yeah. So the French title, La Cri du Sorcier, The Sorcerer's Cry.
Also a great title, honestly.
It is.
Yeah, and that's it looks like that's because it references the con of 1978 Snow Festival because it was, I think it tied.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a real one, European or a
they
French,
got
maybe Canadian, Quebec.
Yeah, I think it got a special jury prize, not one of the major prize, one of the main prizes, but a special.
But I think it kind of got like the second best prize you can get, or it tied. It
tied for the best one. I thought. I don't know. Maybe not.
But it was also when Cannes was fairly small.
It didn't get the Palme du Jour or whatever.
I was reading about it, and they were saying compared to what Cannes is now.
Right. It shared the audience prize or whatever with Bye Bye Monkey, which
it was Palme d'Or. Is that the?
If you look at the list of con winners, there's a lot of stuff. It's like you're just screwing with us, aren't you? You know.
Yeah, it won the.
I'm not trying to take away.
It's like the Oscars. You go back and you look and go, oh, that was just a moment when people
pay
attention to this, and then you have something here's what, and yeah.
It's always fun to go back and like a classic movie, like a Star Wars or something great, or even a critical darling, and go back and see what actually won that year. And it's like Ordinary People. You're like, I don't think anyone's thought about that movie since it came out.
Yeah,
but
yeah, there's a difference between
when Donald Sutherland died. I remembered how good he was in it. He's the best.
Yeah,
he's the best part
that's
of
true.
Ordinary People. He's great.
And Skolimowski is kind of a Renaissance man because he did all kinds of stuff. I mean, he was director, writer, actor, painter. I saw a quote where when he came out with a movie 17 years after his last movie, he says, "For those of you who miss me, I'm back. For those of you who hate me, I'm back."
Yeah, he didn't do one from 1991 to 2008. Is he still doing them? Yeah, he's still at it.
He's got a very distinctive face. That's for sure. Oh, wait, I may not have made a card for him. Am I wrong, or did he play the Russian gangster in Avengers that Black Widow was?
Georgie.
He was in the movie, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Georgie Lukhov, yeah.
Right, the one that he's interrogating her, but she's actually playing him like a fiddle.
That's Jerzy Skolimowski?
Yeah, he grew up to have a very distinctive face.
Wow.
For character roles.
Yeah. He was in Mars Attack. He played Dr. Ziegler.
Yeah, the guy who did the translation machine. Okay.
Well, the good thing about being a Renaissance man in film means that you can always get a gig.
That's right. That is right.
It is kind of funny that you brought up the Avengers. That's great.
It was Polish.
It's a terrible poster.
That's not
Boy.
good.
It looks like it's like an angry potato.
I think that translates to the scream, maybe. Maybe it's the shout. Same thing. Is that a tag? Oh, there might have been a tagline. It might be the same one. Critical International Festival of Cons. Yeah, something saying it went to Cons.
That looks like a heavy metal record from like 1983.
Oh my god!
Like, look, I can do Ronnie James Dio.
Well, this one's a little bit more artsy.
Ooh, psychedelic.
Yeah.
That looks like a re-release or a DVD.
It does. It does look like a re-release. About the only way I can guess is like, do they have credits? Yeah, okay. It looks like
could be legit.
But it's got some legit stuff. It's got the psychedelic thing. It's got the nice little sound effect, visual, whatever you call that when it goes up and
they're putting this
waveform.
out with the Criterion Collection in October. We know what that cover looks like because, of course, the Criterion Collection always does really interesting, not always great, but often really cool new cover designs for.
I'll grab it.
Yeah, this one is from the DVD Blu-ray that was released by ITV Studios.
It'll be interesting.
Okay.
Criterion comes up with when they do a release.
I always like the Rank organization because one, Rank is like a bad. That film was rank. Okay, that's not a good thing. And also, I just like gongs.
Yes. I was gonna say it's all about the gong.
Yeah,
that's how you begin a movie, folks, with a gong.
All right, and then we have this one.
This looks like something the Criterion. It is the Criterion.
Yeah, there's on the left. Yeah,
and that is a great poster. Not only is that a great poster, but it really reminds me of those wonderful Polish posters where usually you can't even tell what the movie they're advertising is for, but it's just got a great graphic design. That's really good.
Polish movie posters are just completely off the hook.
Oh yeah, they're the best.
At the IFC Center here in New York, before the movie, they'll just do a slideshow of nothing but Polish designs for various famous movies. The posters for them, and it's always just, even after you've seen them many times, it's just a pleasure to see them again. There's some great designs.
And then we have.
I believe this was a. This may not have been used, but it was like a proof of concept or an idea they had that they may not have gone with, but somebody liked it enough to keep it around, so it showed up in the search. I've never seen it anywhere else. It's cool. It does. I think it fits in very well with the vibe.
Anybody read the caption at the very top?
The shout
film
or something. I don't know. Not the best choice of fonts and background, but okay.
It can something you stone dead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's the posters. And we do anything else we want to say about the director before we get on to the cast?
He didn't do any, as far as I could tell, he didn't do any genre stuff.
No.
This was his one and done in the Fantastic, but certainly a name that went on to win lots of awards and with films that very few Americans ever saw.
Yeah, I'm looking at I recognize like 0 of them. Yep. And what do you want to say about the author of the source material?
Robert Graves was British poet and writer. He wrote I, Claudius, the novel that they, of course, famously based the BBC.
Brilliant.
He wrote a lot of historical novels. And he was a poet. He was also very much into esoteric myth and magic. Probably one of his most famous nonfiction books is something called The White Goddess.
The White Goddess, yeah.
He posits a whole matriarchal mythos that has been sort of lost by sort of patriarchal Western civilization. One of those books that is fascinating to read, but is probably wholly and wildly inaccurate in many places because, as I mentioned, he's a poet. He's approaching from a more mythic standpoint in terms of that, but very influential, especially later on in the 60s when, of course, people got very much into esoterica again and the occult and whatnot. And he also famously wrote one of the best post-World War I memoirs, Goodbye to All That, talking about his experiences in the war, in the trenches, at the Western Front, which is a really, if you're unfortunate enough like me to have gone through a First World War I obsession for several years, read nearly everything you could read that is on a reading list. It's a great memoir of being a soldier in that time. So fascinating, long life. Also often a complete jerk and treated women terribly as guys who come up with matriarchy. Often.
Like many philosophers, it all seems to be it's like, how can I justify cheating on my wife?
Right. And it's that kind of thing where it's like it's like, well, yes, on Tuesday I believe in this sort of thing, but on Wednesday I got a hot date. So very hard to reconcile the sacred and the profane impulses sometimes in intellectual. But Robert values fascinating. He's a fascinating writer, and I have not read this story, but I'm going to go track it down and see what they have done with it, how they have transmuted the original story.
He himself was quite fond of this story. He was rated it highly among his various works.
And it's a great story. It's again, in some alternate universe where I, became a filmmaker and made horror movies for A24, I might be like, hey, let's do a remake of The Shout. Let's do a.
Who would you get? What actor could do that Alan Bates role now?
Wow,
do we have actors of that quality?
We do.
I fear.
I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about who would be super charismatic and able to do that physically too. Did you note the scene where he's wearing his coat on his shoulders and he sits down and he just sort of puffs his chest up and the coat naturally falls back on the chair, and you're just like, oh my God, this guy is. Even in his movements, he is just like, I am the king of the walk right now. Even though I'm presenting myself as just being like, oh yeah, I haven't eaten for a few days, and I'm just sort of a
look at that middle shot. God damn! I mean, it's just he knows he's in charge. He's happy about it. There's malevolence. No,
it's really he's just so good in this. Yeah, he's the anchor.
And it shows something too, the difference between, I think male actors nowadays, a lot of times, Hollywood being what it is, they're going for good looks. And there was a time when you could be a leading male movie star, even maybe a sex symbol, whether they called you that or not, and you weren't particularly traditionally handsome.
Right.
You were masculine. I don't think Humphrey Bogart would be considered handsome under any measurement, except for the fact that he's Humphrey Bogart, and we now associate that with, of course, Ingrid Bergman's going to fall in love with him. He's Humphrey friggin' Bogart.
Yep.
And this guy just kind of like oozes that. It's a theatrical thing too. I think one of the reasons it would be hard to make a movie like this now with this role is this just has, and I don't know, I may be totally wrong. Maybe Alan Bates never did a stage performance in his life, but that's not the vibe I get. No, I feel
I'll bet he had a stage training.
Yeah.
And you'd probably,
Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London.
There we go. Okay.
So. And if you did an American remake of this, you'd probably just have to hire a British actor to do it, even if he was doing an American accent.
Yeah, right.
That's my guess.
Yep.
I was looking over his stuff because I knew who Alan Bates was growing up. But I think, and the only thing I can, and I don't know how this even applied to me as a teenager, but Unmarried Woman came out the same year, which was with
Jill Clayburgh.
Jill Clayburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was a very popular film, and it was her film, and he played the male lead opposite her. But I'm looking at the rest of the films, and I don't know, for me, what brought him to attention.
Yeah, I don't know.
Women in Love was one that really.
Yeah, Women in Love was, I think, that made him.
Okay. What year was that?
I don't know what he's done because I kept confusing him in my mind with Ralph Bates.
It's better Norman Bates, right? So I guess
every time I see Alan Bates, I think, oh, wasn't he in Taste of Blood? No, he's not. It's a different thing.
I don't know. He was nominated for an Oscar for The Fixer in 1968.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'd see more recently, which isn't what would have brought attention to it, The Mothman Prophecies.
Yeah. That was the only other genre film I thought I found there.
I think I know who could play this character now.
Who?
Okay.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Because he has that menace and charisma.
Definitely the menace.
Right? Yep. That's all mixed together.
Yep.
Yeah,
right.
he's definitely a bad guy you could love to hate kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what? Javier
Benicio del Toro?
Not Nicolas Cage?
No, too much.
Not Jared Leto either.
You get Javier Bardem to be Crossley, and then for the John Hurt character, for Anthony, you get Pedro Pascal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sort of vulnerable and innocent sort of look face, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we know. Now, somebody out there hear that will manifest this. We'll do our screen. Oh, yeah. Okay, Susanna York is charming in this, and well, not charming isn't the right word. What am I looking for?
She's super effective. She's real. She makes you believe in this character, who, as we sort of mentioned when we were talking about the character, is just kind of like a victim, damsel in distress kind of role, because she is put under a spell. But we get a sense of her personality and who she is before that happens.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why one of those moments when I was saying earlier, Doc, there was the moment when he comes back after leaving and picks up the buckle, and you can see her whole. She's sitting at the kitchen table, and her whole just sort of demeanor just changes because the spell is back into in place. It's really good. It's really well done, and it's not showy. It's grounded. It's just, she's like, you feel like this is a real woman who this thing is happening to.
And it's a good shot in the center too, because she is literally being imprisoned here. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, but because this is when he takes over.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen this described as a sexy scene, and it's like, I mean, we're essentially seeing a woman being sexually assaulted here.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah.
There's no consent going on.
No.
And just like with Dracula or any other monster that's able to do that, it may be filmed in a seductive way, but when something is projecting its will onto you. Yeah.
Well, and note too that what part of what makes it's disturbing, as it should be. And when he's like that top still,
that's a great shot.
Taking the sort of, she kind of gets sort of caught in her nightgown for a moment there. And there's a couple of quick cuts back and forth where it seems to be taking a long time to get the nightgown off of her. It's very much akin to that middle shot where it's like, you are now trapped.
Right.
You are now trapped in my spell.
I thought that was a great shot with her nightgown and everything, because it was almost like she was emerging, like almost like a birth scene.
Yeah.
And
it's very again, it's subtle, but
being transformed.
It makes you go like, ooh, what is happening here?
She was coming out of her cocoon. Right.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah, well, there you go. That there. You have another card here, and some films that she.
We don't know what happened to his Aboriginal wife, but I can't imagine it was good.
No.
Anyway, but that's a great shot. That's a great shot of her.
Even
she was Superman's mom.
Yep.
Ah, okay. Yes.
The Awakening. Isn't that the Charlton Heston mummy movie?
Yes.
Yep.
Is that? Has anyone seen that since it
You
came
know, not for so long. I don't remember if it was any good or not.
It can't be.
It couldn't have been great. But
I just remember it being bad.
I love Charlton Heston. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember asking him about it because I was sent by my student newspaper in college to interview Charlton Heston when they brought out some movie he made with his son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was really cool being in there with him. But I had to mention it because it was only horror. I was just asking about all the horror stuff and science fiction stuff he did. Yeah.
She got nominated for an Oscar for They Shoot Horses, don't they?
Oh boy, there's a happy movie. Yeah, she's good. I like her.
And it seemed like she got into a lot of stuff right about that time period. She was in do you have that up there? XYZ, which I think Elizabeth Taylor, Michael Caine, and Susanna York were the title characters.
Well, the fact that she played Superman's mom tells you something, because Superman, it doesn't seem so obvious now. At the time, it was considered a hell of a gamble, unlikely to succeed, and the only way they could even get the movie made was to completely front load it with famous people, except for Superman. The one really smart thing they did was not hire Bruce Jenner or any of the other people who were up for it. They found an unknown. But then everyone else was, you go to see Superman and it's like Susanna York and Marlon Brando. It was all these famous people. And that was so that people were like, oh, superhero movies, that's like Batman, pow, zap, zing. But Marlon Brando's in it. So there must be something, and
sure.
And it worked.
Yeah. Gene Hackman. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that she was in it tells you.
It was actually a good movie.
It did. It was a good movie. Superman 2 was also great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't believe a man could fly, but I believed enough.
Sure.
That's good.
Yeah. I was pretty damn close, though.
Yeah.
I believed it in the 50s TV series.
Ah, there you go.
Dun, dun, dun. Looked like he was lying on a table.
You know why?
I loved how when he went running. Boom, boom.
And jump
Had
off.
perfectly timed leap past the camera.
Yep. John Hurt.
John Hurt.
Yeah, what a great actor. Gave us so many roles. Oh my gosh. What's his? How many?
I put a pile of them in the next slide, but
but I mean, 213 credits. Up until 2017 when he passed away at the age of 77.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him do Samuel Beckett's Craft's Last Tape at the Brooklyn Cannon a few years before he died, and it was fantastic. He was great. It was
He was nominated for Oscars for Midnight Express and The Elephant.
Yeah.
Wow, he was fantastic.
Exactly. And Midnight Express, for that matter.
But boy, you can see in that top picture, he is the odd man out here.
Yes, he is.
Look at the two of them. They look like an old married couple at this point.
Yes.
Just relaxed, chilling.
You might as well be wearing horns on his head.
Yep. If you need me, I'll be in the kitchen making biscuits or something.
Yeah. She wants him to go get her shoes.
Yeah.
She doesn't care anymore about a certain somebody. But yeah, there's a lot of films. Oh my gosh!
Look at this stuff. Oh, we've got Alien, one of the latter Indiana Jones movies, Crystal Skull, I guess. V for Vendetta.
Frankenstein Unbound.
Frankenstein Unbound. Yeah,
Roger Corman's return to directing.
Yeah, came and went. Hellboy, The Ghoul, which we have done. Only Lovers Left Alive. He was in a couple of. He was the wand maker in the Harry Potter movies.
Yes.
And he's still, to me, he's that version of 1984 is still he's perfect. Perfect casting.
I like how he in the 1984 he's playing the good guy. In V for Vendetta he's playing Big Brother basically.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Only Lovers Left Alive, but it looks very interesting.
You got to see that.
Yeah, okay. I really enjoy Only Lovers Left Alive. It's one of the.
That's that Tom Hiddleston too, right?
It's one of Jim Jarmusch's better films. Because it's just like, here's what it would be like to have two vampires in a relationship.
And Swinton, yeah.
Here's what the lives would be like. It's like a domestic drama, except with vampires, and the vampires are Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston.
But I think the movie that really made me love. Well, I mean, I loved him in Alien, but The Elephant Man.
Yeah.
I went to see that with my college roommate, and it moved him. And he was a pretty stoic guy. Moved him to tears. It's a fantastic portrayal, and the fact that you can tell how good an actor he is under more makeup than you can imagine. Just really good actor. Good to the end.
The ending when he's like, pulling all his pillows off the bed still chokes me up.
Yeah.
Chokes me up when I saw it.
In 78, he voiced Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings animated movie, and Hazel in Watership Down. So, interesting. You go to 1984, like you said. What was he? Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate. Yeah, we'll leave that there. History of the World Part 1. Jesus. He played Jesus.
You could do far worse than to have a John Hurt Film Festival.
Well, the all-time greatest cameo for Mel Brooks was when
Spaceballs. Yeah.
Where you're just like, John Hurt, bless you.
Not again.
Perfect.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby.
When I saw that in the theater and went into Jim Michigan Frog, I nearly fell out of my chair.
Yeah. That was my favorite part of the movie.
It's the best. It really, that and Rick Moranis are the best things about space.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if they can recapture that magic next year, I guess.
I'll answer the question right now. No.
Oh, they'll try though.
It'll be nice to see Rick Moranis on the screen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it will always be good to see him. But I saw them try with History of the World, and
no. Well, what do you want? Mel's 100 years old.
That's right.
And he directed it, right? So
yeah,
the great John Hurt.
Yep.
Then we have Tim Curry.
Young Tim Curry.
Curry looking again like he just
like he's never shaved a day in his life.
Exactly.
Never had to, and he just Yeah,
we don't get
the
lip curling kind of facial tics that
he was like a student, wasn't he? I mean, he wasn't a inmate or a resident, was he?
No. He was not. He wasn't. He was just there. He was just there to be the scorer for one of the teams.
Right.
Again, he's who he is isn't important. He's the wedding guest. He's just there so that Alan Bates.
Right.
Alan Bates can begin to tell his story. But yeah,
he's me on a long bus trip. I always get the absolute craziest person on the bus sitting right next to me telling my life story. I must give out some kind of magnetic vibe when they walk on. Boop, 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 boom, zero in. Oh, well.
Yeah.
It was great to see him in this. I didn't realize he was in this until the credits.
Yeah, it was. I was a surprise to me too.
Yeah. Look at this.
And of course, come on.
Good gracious.
What?
Rocky Horror Picture Show will cement him in cinema history forever.
Yeah.
But where's Clue in this?
Where is Clue?
I could have put Clue in there. There's so much, but I was just going for the horror stuff here. Of course, he was great in it. And Legend. Yeah. I mean,
you could say that in Legend he was a legend.
He was, and then he was a clown in it. Annie. He was in Annie. Like Rooster. There's a movie called Times Square that nobody, not too many people talk about, but I remember just watching it over and over again on HBO in 80, 81. and he's in it. He plays like a radio DJ.
Tim Curry is always great.
Yeah,
243 credits in IMDb
Wow.
as an actor.
The last thing I know, he's had health issues recently. The last thing I remember seeing him in was one of those detective procedural shows, NCIS or CSI or something. He played a serial killer, and you know, on the one hand, a little sad seeing him obviously aged and not in the best health, but boy, was he scary.
Yeah.
He was really, really good.
No, he was working right up until his stroke.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. I don't care how many versions of it they do. He's Pennywise as far as I'm concerned. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if between him and John Wayne Gacy, that was the final nail in the coffin of people liking clowns.
Yep.
It's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And Congo, Congo is a stupid movie. But if I were 12 years old when Congo came out, it would be in my top 2 movies of all time. I mean, talking gorillas, mutant gorillas being shot by lasers. I mean, it's like this. Oh, and put some lava there too, and giant diamonds. It's like if they gave me a pixie stick and then had me write a script, I would have come up with Congo.
I've never seen Congo. I know it's terrible, but is it a fun terrible?
Yes,
it's
absolutely fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's okay. It's
a campy.
It's a fun idea to think about, but it's yeah.
It's
right.
It's Michael Crichton.
It's Michael Crichton book.
Yeah. He was doing his own version of Pixie Sticks, I imagine. And it was like, okay, what's in the news? Well, we got Coco the talking gorilla, and every movie's better with laser beams. And yeah, just
Jurassic Park it's not.
Yeah.
No. And then you have this a bunch of shouts.
Yep. Shout, let it on out.
The top image was a weird thing because it was basically a freeze frame that they like pan scanned out, right? So
yeah, it's really, I mean, he's, the police, and this is where again, the whole unreliable and everything, the way that the police finally show up, track him down as Anthony is like, aha, I figured out a way to like break this.
Right.
And they say, Charles Crossley, you're under arrest for the murder of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's
and he says he killed all his
yeah. And then there's a scene where he's doing the shout, and it looks like it kills at least one of the policemen.
Yeah.
Right.
And the next thing you know, and I guess it's because at the same time his shout is Anthony is breaking his power by banging on the rock with his piece of soul in it. Next thing you know, he's in the back of the police car.
Right. So
you're just sort of like, is this what? Again, that mix of like how much of this is real and how much of this is pure delusion. But I really appreciated when the cops were like, you're under arrest for the murder of your children, because it introduced that whole thing of like, oh, all this aboriginal stuff is total. This guy's just an insane murderer of his own family. If you want to take it that way. Again, I love things like maybe it's supernatural, maybe he's just crazy. That makes you like you can't decide exactly. It's hard to follow in either direction.
Right. Is he a resident of the mental hospital, or is he a fugitive for killing his kids, or both? I guess.
Is this just?
I guess he could be hiding out
Caligari all over again.
Yeah. It's a very it's a mix.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all our source material here to look at. Is there anything else we want to say about the movie before we wrap it up?
I'd recommend it to people if you're into, maybe slow burn, thoughtful kind of thing. It's a movie. Yeah. It's not a party movie with your friends or something to introduce. But you come on, you know your wife by now.
Caveat spectator, right?
I know my wife enough to say I'm going to watch this one alone, hon, while you're working. I'm just going to be getting a lot of what happened? Why are we back at the insane asylum?
Might need some caffeine.
If you're a fan of high strangeness and folk horror, and enjoy
And good acting.
performances, really good acting, you'll be, this is recommended. If not so much, not so much.
Don't go for the pacing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we went ahead and said this or not, and I thought you had a poster of this, but the Italian title was
El Grito or
L'Australiano, the Australian.
Oh, the Australian.
And the German title is Der Todesschrei, the death scream.
As it would be in German.
It would.
Yeah.
It would.
I gotta say, every time I hear the phrase "the Australian," I just think of the knife that the character in Delicatessen has when he pulls out. You know what I'm talking about in the movie Delicatessen? He pulls out the badass knife and he goes, and his knife has a name and it's the Australian.
That's a knife.
Have people seen Delicatessen? Do you know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Just
I have not seen it, but I know the movie you're talking about.
Oh my God, Delicatessen is great, insane fun.
Chef's kiss. Good stuff.
It is truly. It is your favorite weird French post-apocalyptic, but maybe it's an apocalypse. We can't tell because there's no explanation.
Yeah.
Movie. It is. There's some sequences in it that are just pure cinematic joy.
All right. Well, let's get into some feedback. But before we do, I want to thank all our patrons. Thank you. Thanks, all our patrons. You can check us out at patreon.com/Gruesome Magazine. And what is it, Jeff? We have these show up there as early access about a day after we record
Usually
them.
the day after we record them.
Yeah.
And they're scheduled to go live 12 days to 2 weeks after we record them.
Yep.
If we record them as scheduled.
On time. Yeah. And then we also have some crazy good polls, and we have unique content that's only on Patreon, where we have reviewed I'm stuttering. I don't know what it is. What do we do?
Old Chat.
Old Chat.
Night Stalker. Thank you. Oh my God.
There's a few episodes of the Night Gallery.
As soon as you start the night, then you're done.
I'm done.
Stalker Gallery.
I can't get it out of my face once I get
day for night. I don't
know. All right, Jeff, what would you say to me, and we'll dive into feedback.
We have some excellent feedback.
Hey, Jeff, can I go first on the feedback?
You can. All right. And these go back away. So this one is for episode 139, Demon Witch Child. And this from Sound of Silence. We hadn't heard from them for a while, so good to hear from them again. And Gregory, I guess you'd like to take this one.
Yes. Sound of Silence says, "Tell Chad to shut up." Had a lot of imagination. I saw it, and the Demon Child was great because she had a lot of dialogue. It was different. It was mysterious. I find all the movies that are on to be much more boring. I don't know where the hell you were because I thought it was a pretty good movie for a low budget.
There you go.
I'm with you. Okay. Death Race 2000, episode 185. What do we go with, Bill?
Bon pour vous says, at the risk of showing my age, I tried to see this movie at the local Flicks. I had heard that a car runs over someone's head and was determined to see it, even though it was an X certification and I was underage. I stood in queue and approached the ticket lady, who looked at me with the expression on her face of, "Oh no, not another one. How old are you?" she said. 18, I squeaked. "And when is your birthday?" she said. This I had not prepared for, and whilst I was trying to work out the correct date, she told me to go forth and prosper. LOL, saw it years later, classic movie, and a head did get squished.
Yes, it does. That's excellent. Those were the days. I was sneaking in the back door too. Not that you would
Don't
have
say
done
that
that. All right.
nowadays. That's a totally different sentence.
Episode 187, Dark Star. Now, I love when this happens. Bon Pourvu is cruising our backlist, which I think is
There
great.
you go.
187, Dark Star, Bon Pourvu again. Doc, you ready for that one?
Yes, I am. Bon Pourvu says, I will always think this movie is great. Saw it a long time ago, late night TV. Made me laugh. The furry freak brothers in space. The idea that they are stuck in a small space for years, getting on each other's nerves all the time, cracks me up. The beach ball alien scene in the lift shaft was the best. All that was missing was Fat Freddy's cat.
Yeah, and I just got to say something because this episode doesn't have very many views, and it's a great episode. I don't do people just not get that Carpenter did this movie, or is it beyond their interest? Is that I just thought people would jump on it, but
I got to say, Dark Star has the distinction of being the very first movie I saw at a science fiction convention.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I was like 13 years old. And back in the day, science fiction conventions would have a room where they just showed all the movies you otherwise wouldn't be able to see. Dark Star, that was where I first saw Dark Star. Never forget it.
Excellent. That'd be cool. Episode 231, A Ghost Story for Christmas. Also Bon Pourvu. Bill, I think Gregory. We're back to Gregory.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Ghost Story for Christmas, Bon Pourvu says, I feel I must come to the defense of Sir Michael Hordern for his performance in Oh Whistle. In the book, his character is younger, but has the same belief that ghosts don't exist. The director wanted to poke fun at philosophers, so he made the character a mumbling, smug type, lost in his muddled thoughts. Sir Michael Hordern played the part well, maybe too well considering the dislike. By the way, Bill, if they had chosen other M.R. James adaptations, like A Warning to the Curious and The Stalls of Barchester, you would have seen your favorite Richard Bucket, a.k.a. Clark, playing the reprising role of Dr. Black. And hats off to Jeff for actually knowing who M.R. James was.
I don't feel special about that. But I will say, do we need to pay more attention to the when we're talking about actors and actresses that have been knighted and ladied?
No.
Okay. Well, I thought he played great too. I loved that episode, but yeah, we were kind of split on it.
Yep.
Let's see. Episode 271, Night of the Seagulls. From J200 Full. Where are we at? Bill.
Me? Okay. Hey guys, there's an upcoming movie from Vinegar Syndrome called Night of the Vamp Friars 2026, which looks promising. Synopsis: a group of friends in a punk rock band discover a hidden cemetery in the woods where they accidentally raise a group of undead friars.
Well, gosh, take my money.
Yeah, exactly. Vamp friars.
We had some good spoof shows. What was the one about the never mind. Well, you know what I mean. It was like a priest and a T-Rex or something.
They go to a bar, right?
I can't.
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster. That's it.
That was something.
That was pretty funny. Anyway, I'm going to read the next one. All right. Also on Night of the Seagull, Sound of Silence. K8U. K8U? The Good Old Days at Blockbuster. I became a Tombs of the Blind Dead fan when I saw it on Elvira way back in 1982 when I was in my 20s. All through the 80s, I loved taking the movies out and recording them. I did that too. I thought I was the only one. In fact, sometimes I rented, before I had my own VCR, I rented an extra VCR. Those days. I loved the video store. It was the way to get out. Now we don't even have them anymore. In the days of Blockbuster, I took out Night of the Seagulls. I like all those. I like all the movies he made. He was like the Mario Bava of Spain. I never could understand the first murder. It would always be gory, but the second murder would be hidden. I finally figured it out. I believe one actress was comfortable doing nudity. She might have been an adult actress, and the second actress wasn't. This seemed to be common from the camera and all the in front of the camera on all the Blind Dead series, except the second one. I enjoyed all his movies, even the adult ones he made. Mafia type of scandal. What's with soft porn? They would act it out. He was a very talented director. Too bad Spain did not give him enough money. The producers in this one, it looks like it was very lavish, but it also looked like a cold time of the year. It did.
Take that as you will.
Yeah.
I see some breaths. So appreciate it. Sound of Silence. Good to have you back.
I gotta
That's
say,
it
whenever you guys talk about Tombs of the Blind Dead, it just makes me want to rewatch them.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't even care about the story. I just want to see those guys riding the horses in slow motion.
Slow motion, yes.
Right.
Yes. All right. Well, we do this every 2 weeks. And we hope you will come back for the next one. And we also very much love feedback. So please do that. Jeff, there's a number of ways they can do that.
Yes, there is. The easiest way probably is just make comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel. But if you're listening to audio, you can send an email to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com or check out our Facebook groups. The main one is with comments, I think, is the Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group.
And check out Gruesome Magazine.
Go to the Gruesome Magazine website.
Full of insightful reviews.
Reviews, and of which Mr. Crosby has a couple coming up.
Yes. So thanks to Sound of Silence, Bon Parvue, J 200-fold, and Sound of Silence again, just for good measure. All right, the next episode. Yes, thank you all very much. The next episode is chosen by Jeff. Explain. What is this we're doing?
Well, I wasn't willing to say there aren't any horror movies left in the 70s for us to pick.
That's true.
So anyway, I chose a movie called Nazareno Cruz and the Wolf. Or Nazareno Cruz y el Lobo. And the synopsis is: a young man from a mountain village faces a legendary curse threatening to turn him into a wolf. When he falls in love at 20, the devil makes him choose between wealth and his beloved or accept a monstrous fate. This is a Mexico/Argentina production. Oh, country of origin. It says Argentina. I thought somewhere I saw Mexico, but might have been a different one. Anyway, not Paul Naschy.
No, but very folk horror. So we're going back to
folk horror. Very folk horror, and it actually is in the one of the Severn collections on. I can never remember the title, but they put out the 2 box sets of folk horror.
Well, I'm intrigued because I've literally not only never seen it, never knew it existed.
Yep. Yeah, this is going to be educational, even.
Well, let's hope so.
We will thank you or curse your name. It
Yeah.
remains to be seen. 2 weeks, we'll find out.
Yep.
Hey, after the Revenge of Dr. X, nothing.
Everything's great. Hoopla and Fossum.
Hoopla and Fossum were the most obvious ones. There's some other ones. I mean, you could pay-per-view it. But Hoopla, again, if people haven't figured this out, all you need is a library card from a participating library, and you can stream movies from Hoopla.
Yep.
And the other one is Canopy with a K.
Mm-hmm.
And they've changed the way they figure it out, but it's around 6 movies a month for free, something like that.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of, every once in a while, something that's brand new out, like premiered on HBO or something, pops up in Hoopla or Canopy.
Yep. That's right. Thank you, Jeff. All right. Well, that is it for tonight. I want to thank Gregory for stepping in for Chad. Thank you, sir. And Jeff and Bill, as always. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, let's scream good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, everybody. Bye.